the Baltimore Ravens, who unfortunately lost it was not fun to watch. It was in terrible fashion to the Buffalo Bills. It was a lot closer, I think, than the score actually says, 17-3, up until the fourth quarter. But you know, Ravens just couldn't get going on offense. Lamar Jackson obviously got injured at the end of the game, and I think that kind of put us out of the game, even though Tyler Huntley had a very good performance for the situation he was in. Undrafted rookie comes in, has virtually no practice time almost the entire year, and in a playoff game comes down and brings them down with an ability to score and make it a one-possession game with time left on the clock. So I give him chops for that. But it was too big of a task against this team. So the Bills move on to the AFC Championship game. We'll break that down later in the show. But the Baltimore Ravens, Andrew, the Baltimore Ravens are now in their offseason, and a lot of people were critiquing the Baltimore Ravens passing attack. And I want to, if I can, and we're going to test it out to see if you can actually hear this. We're going to take it to John Harbaugh actually answering a question. So Harbaugh was asked about the team's passing concepts because they came under scrutiny when Kurt Warner and Steve Smith said that the passing concepts were simple.
That's been thrown around. Do you see any validity in that? And also, do you expect to do any kind of sort of ground-up overhaul of the passing offense like we've seen you do with other aspects of the teams in recent offseasons?
No, I mean, I disagree with Kurt and Steve on that, and I love Steve, and I don't really know Kurt that well, but the passing tree, we run all the routes on the passing tree, if they want to talk simplistically, the quote-unquote passing tree. We have every route in football, and we have every route concept in football. We throw it less than most teams do because we run it so well. And I know that Kurt would probably love to see us be a drop-back passing team that gets the ball out on time in a West Coast-type style or a greatest show on turf type style. But that's not the offense that we run. And we're not going to change an offense that, because it doesn't fit his eye, So, but we've got all the concepts. There's nobody has more effective movement passes and more effective play action passes off of a run game than we do because we've got the most complete run game, and we've got all the play action and movement passes off of that. And all of our drop back passes are, we're not going to be as complex as a Pittsburgh or a team that throws the ball 40 to 50 times a game because we don't throw the ball as much as they do. So I think that just stands to reason. So we'll build the passing game around our players and our talent and around our quarterback and around our running backs and around our offensive line to suit our players.
So, that was John Harbaugh in very scathing manner calling out Kurt Warner and Steve Smith, basically, and telling them that they're misguided in what they believe as far as the Ravens passing tree being weak. And, I'll let you take it in a second, but I do want to say one thing. I don't think the problem is necessarily that the Ravens passing tree is weak or whatever. I think the passing scheme itself is good. It works for the team. The problem is, and the thing that happens with Greg Roman over time is that in situational football, he can kind of get lost. And the same thing happened in Buffalo when he was there. Same thing happened with 49ers, most notably with Kaepernick. Over time, it's not, he himself is just not sustainable as a play caller. And that's just how it is. It's just the way things end up sometimes. So I think that's kind of the problem. Do the Ravens need to necessarily move on from him? No, but it might be best for them to sooner rather than later. If not, then he really does need to redo, or he needs to kind of stay strict to his situational football because his biggest problem has always been situational football, calling the wrong plays, calling the wrong schemes at the wrong times, kind of going with his gut sometimes when he really should just go with what the playbook says and what the plan is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily, like I was saying before, dude, I don't necessarily think that that's really the issue. I mean, maybe improvising, maybe bringing in a new offensive scheme could help the Ravens, but dude, they made the playoffs. They won a playoff game. Lamar won the MVP last year. As I told you, dude, they just ran into a buzz saw. Like, they just ran into a better team. And that's not a
But I
knock
mean,
on the
look.
Ravens.
It's not like, but look, it's not like okay, it's not like they were blowing us out or anything. Tucker, obviously, like we left 6 points on the board because I don't care what anyone says. Buffalo didn't win this game. The wind won this game. The wind won this game
Hey,
because
Buffalo's a tough place to play, man.
Buffalo's a tough.
It's a
It is a
tough
tough
place to
place to
play.
play. But I will say this. I will say this. The Ravens, look, we lost. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of it, though, I don't think was due to Buffalo. I think in the end, the Ravens just kind of shot themselves in the foot. It was they were calling the wrong plays. Lamar Jackson throws that pick six at the end of the game on a really bad read. It wasn't like Buffalo. It wasn't like the defender like made a cut or made a nice play. Lamar Jackson threw it right to him because he just didn't see him on the flat. So I think that's more of the issue there. I think the Ravens lost this game more than Buffalo won it, and that's not trying to take anything away from Buffalo. Buffalo's a good team. I love Josh Allen, and I think they actually have a really good chance in the AFC Championship game. We'll get to that in just a minute. But what I'm trying to say is that the wind played a factor in it, and it's not an excuse. It's just a reality. The score would have been, I believe, 17-9. Would have made it a one possession game, and that's when you have that motivation of it's still a one possession game, you can still do what the win made the greatest kicker in NFL history miss 2 field goals in a playoff game. Tucker never misses in 2 field goals in any game, let alone a playoff game. So that amounted to it. Again, Ravens, I think it's a young team. People forget that it's a very young team, very young core. Hollywood is in his second year. Lamar is only in his third year. The defense is obviously a little chippier, but even the defense, a lot of defenders are, just entering their prime. So I think this team is going to be around for a while. It's just a matter of retooling, not necessarily like rebuilding the offense, I think.
And just another thing real quick before we move on with the Ravens. This is just from what I observed from the Ravens this season. I don't think they really figured it out. Like, I think they talented their way into the playoffs through the wild card. I just think, they were able to talent their way into the playoffs because the AFC
really?
South had the AFC North? The AFC North had 3 teams in?
Yeah, 3 teams in.
You guys had 3 teams. I just think, the Tennessee game, that's a rivalry that most people don't really know about. And there was, that was a payback game. They did. I just don't think the Ravens this season really, I don't think they figured it out. They did win a couple big games when they had to.
Well, no,
and I just
that's
don't
what
think
I'm
they
trying
really
to say, though.
figured it out this year.
I think that comes down to situational play calling on the offense because Lamar is still young. He's still he's not going to be himself calling every single play. It's the reason you have an offensive coordinator calling plays, right? I think that it's just a matter of, like I said, retooling the offense and not changing schemes, but rather just changing the plays that you call in those moments because I think that's more of it. As the season progressed, they got better at it, but then in the Buffalo game, we just got away from it. And could you blame the wind too on that? Could Lamar probably not throw the ball as best as he could? Yeah, I mean, and we saw that there was actually a play at the end of the game where, or towards in the fourth quarter, where Huntley actually had Hollywood streaking and he just missed him, and he was throwing with the wind, so that kind of explained that. So I think it's just a matter of also getting experience on in the elements. I think that's that's another thing that we talked about last week that might hinder this team going forward is the fact that Hollywood, Lamar, a lot of these guys, Huntley even, they played in Florida. They played in places where you don't see a lot of the elements. So
think about the playoff games they've played and lost too. Think about it. In Baltimore last year, the year before in San Diego or LA, and then this year was in Buffalo. So, and think about the game they won was in Tennessee, which is not exactly, not exactly Minnesota. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, so, I mean, I think all of their things are things they can figure out in the offseason.
Yeah,
I think
they're going to be. They are here to stay. They are here to stay. They're going to be good. It's those elements, man. Those elements they're a part of the game, and they can be big.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. For more content, please hit that notification bell, comment, subscribe, and everything like that. And just remember, keep it real.